Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. Today I have a few questions for you guys with my best answer, okay? So I hope this can help you guys succeed in getting your boiler license. So let's start it. This question will change from state to state, okay? So you guys need to try to remember how your state license, what's the requirements, okay? So I'm gonna give you guys over here in Massachusetts, okay? So question, what can you do with a first class engineer license in Massachusetts? You can have a charge of and operate any steam plant. You can have a charge of and operate any steam plant. Second question. Which air tanks require periodic inspection? Which air tanks require periodically inspection? So air tanks, air tanks with 50 psi and above, okay? Air tanks of 50 psi or above or over, unless otherwise exempted, shall be inspected internally and externally every 2 years. 2 years. Who can appeal the results of a license examination? Who can appeal the results of a license examination? Any applicant aggrieved by the decision of a single examiner has the right to appeal. Any applicant aggrieved by the decision of a single examiner has the right to appeal. So, if you are in Massachusetts, okay, and you do not agree with the decision, if you're going for second fireman, first fireman, and third engineer, you can appeal because it is a single examiner, okay? But if you go for the oral exam for second engineer and first engineer, you cannot appeal because will be oral exam with 3 state inspectors. Which boilers require non-continuous attendance? Which boilers require non-continuous attendance? So non-continuous attendance requires that the boiler or boilers to have a boiler horsepower between 251 until 500 horsepower. The engineer in charge has to stay on the same building of the boiler. The operator should be able to monitor the boiler in other parts of the building and also be able to shut it off, the boiler. The operator has to come back to the boiler room at least 4 to 6 times per shift. And every time that he's back to the boiler room, the operator have to log in the boiler log. And the most important, the primary and most important job of the operator is the boiler. Okay? Just to make sure, for the beginner license guys, if you have 3 boilers connected to the same header, so all the steam are connected, each boiler is 100 boiler horsepower. So you have 100 plus 100 plus 100, 300 boiler horsepower. So that plant is a non-continuous attendance, okay? Name 5 ways to control superheat temperature. Name 5 ways to control superheat temperature. So, attemperators is one. Desuperheaters, okay? Radiant and convection superheater used in combination. Tilting burners. Separately fired superheaters. Bypass dampers. And flue gas recirculation and soot blowing. Okay, that's some ways to control superheat temperature. What is a vortex eliminator? Where would you find? What is a vortex eliminator and where would you find? Vortex eliminator prevents a vortex, that swirling motion, from developing in piping or tubes located either at the mouth of the downcomer tube or at the pump suction. So on the DA tank, okay, on the DA tank, on the bottom where you have the pipe that goes down to the suction pump, it could create a vortex there where the water goes down. So vortex eliminator is to eliminate that swirling motion. Name 7 heat losses in a boiler. Name 7 heat losses in a boiler. So we have the heat lost out of the stack, okay, water vapor, unburned fuel in ash, incomplete combustion, moisture in the fuel, moisture in the combustion air, and radiation. A boiler is equipped with 3 safety valves. Where would they be set? A boiler is equipped with 3 safety valves. Where would they be set? So, one valve, okay, can be set at or below the maximum allowed working pressure. Okay. Another valve, okay, could be set 3% above the maximum allowed working pressure, okay? And the lowest and the last valve, or the lowest set safety valve, could be within 10% of the highest safety valve set, okay? So, just an example, okay? If our maximum allowed working pressure is 100 MAWP, 100 PSI. So the first valve could be at 100. The second valve could be 103. Okay. And the third and the lowest valve could be 91 PSI. Okay. So So, but you're not gonna operate your boiler close to the maximum allowed working pressure. Okay, so if your operating pressure is 80 psi, okay, you getting close to maximum allowed working pressure, so that will be something that you need to review and talk to the chief engineer. Okay, now if your working pressure is 50 psi, this is very safe per se. Okay, so you're not close enough, so you're not gonna be popping safety valve all the time. Okay, and if you decide to have all three safety valve at 80 psi, okay, it's not a reason to do not do that. Has to be at or below. So if we decide because it's cheaper to buy safety valve for 80 psi, you can buy 3 safety valve at 80 psi. Your working pressure is 50, so you should run smoothly, okay? But follow manufacturer's recommendation, okay? And follow the guidance of your chief engineer. So, like I do all the time, if you're going for a lowest license, okay, what you can do with your license, okay, it's a very common question. Okay, so if you're going for second fireman's job, make sure that you know what you can do with your license. Okay, air tanks, make sure you know in your state. In Massachusetts, 50 or above, unless otherwise exempted, internally and externally every 2 years. Okay, heat loss in a boiler, very common question. Okay, heat out of the stack, unburned fuel and ash, incomplete combustion, too much excess air, moisture in the fuel, moisture in the combustion air, radiation, dirty furnace, dirty tubes. Okay, so all heat loss in the boiler. Okay, and the 3 safety valve. Okay, first one, at or below the maximum allowed work pressure. The second, 3% above. Okay, and the lowest 10% within the highest set safety valve. Okay, guys, so thank you very much, and I see you guys on the next video. Thank you.